I like your braces.
I did it. I got braces.
God damn!
You look so pretty, like a beautiful
Thanks.
butterfly that's in high school.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I paid her a lot of money to say those words.
Yeah.
So if you hear like spit sounds.
No, they're not going to hear any spit sounds. You're going to fucking nail it.
Okay.
It's going to be fine.
Sometimes my lips don't know what to do and they spasm for a second and then I have to like reach them back around the brackets.
When your mouth gets dry, your lips are going to get stuck on top of your braces and you're going to have to like fucking...
That's what I was telling you earlier. That's why you're addicted to chapstick.
Yeah.
So all through high school, Erin always had fucking chapstick and Trident bubblegum in her pocket.
It was not bubblegum. It was just Trident gum.
Fucking Trident chewing gum is what it's called.
Yeah. I blew bubbles with it, but it wasn't bubblegum.
You snap those bubbles. You would always tear like the piece in half. Did you hear? I just popped this in the mic. I was like... And I'm an adult, so I have lip smackers for my
kids.
Was that
out like a quarter of an inch?
No, bro.
Yes, bro.
No.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Tone it down a notch.
I was like, Jesus, it's even farther than I thought.
I live on the edge. Just like extend it all the way.
Yeah.
Pull the chapstick all the way out. Anyway.
In the cap.
Yeah, so that's how I have learned to keep my lips off of my brackets. And now I understand why you are addicted to chapstick. Anyway.
You'll be fine.
So I'm glad it's my day to tell a story.
I am too.
We did not plan this correctly.
Mostly because I lost all of my fucking brain cells this weekend.
Oh my God. So this weekend, we went on our mommy's getaway trip.
We did.
And we burned a lot of brain cells.
All of them. They're all gone. Work has been hard.
I was just going to say, every day at work, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah. And I'll just catch myself staring and I'm like, wait, we were doing something.
God, do something. Now I'm actually busy at work. And so I'm like, fuck, I actually have to think.
Mm-hmm. And people call you. They're like, hey, can I just talk to you really quick? And then it turns into like an hour meeting. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this at all. I have no idea what you just said.
Anyway, what's your goddamn?
Well, I don't remember if we talked about it on the podcast or not because my brain cells are dead. But for Valentine's Day, I got me a virtual reality headset.
You
right?
did talk about it. Well,
yes.
Maybe you did.
I don't know.
Remember.
Yeah, I don't know where it ended up.
Yeah.
It could have been on the, what's it called? The production room floor.
Yeah.
They edit stuff because we're so savvy. So that's like a blast, right? And it came in the mail and I was so excited to play it. And then I downloaded this game and I can't remember what it's called, but I was super excited. You're like on fucking Saturn and you have to go like explore. It's like an escape the room game because that's the kind of shit I like.
Yeah.
And so I was ready to escape the room and you have like, it starts you off nice and slow, right? It's like, oh no, your capsule is crashing onto Saturn. And I'm like, yeah, I see the rings. Like, ooh, this is going to be exciting. And then they show you how to use all your shit and like how to walk around. And I'm kind of walking around. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then I played for like 10 minutes. And I am somebody who gets like motion sick.
Oh, no.
In a car.
Yeah.
I almost died. I was playing and I was having so much fun. And I was like, yes, I'm solving the puzzles. I'm so smart.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard. But I'm really smart too.
It's for children.
I'm like, amarillo.
Yellow. I know this one.
Yeah. And then I like, because motion sickness comes like really fast for me. Like I'll be like, no, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And I can handle pain and like torture like a motherfucker. So if you want to come torture me.
Didn't know you'd been tortured. Don't put that in the universe.
I'm just kidding. But I'm okay with pain, but I cannot handle being nauseous.
Yeah.
And so I was playing, having the time of my life. And all of a sudden I was like, why am I sweating? I need everything off of my body. And I'm just like laying on the floor. Like, why is the world moving? And I felt like I was going to puke and it would not go away. And then I was talking to Lee about it. And I'm like, okay, this game is fucking sick. Like, it's insane. It's blowing my mind. Don't laugh at me because I have braces and I'm talking about video games. Fuck you. Fuck you. All right. And so
You're just so excited.
I'm like animated about it. It's because we've had 800 cups of coffee.
That's true.
Okay. So
Yes.
I was talking to Lee about it. And I'm like, okay, I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to get motion sick from this, whatever. Like, this sucks. And he's like, really? That's weird. Like, I don't get motion sick, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, you got to play the games where, like, you're walking around.
Yeah,
not, like, where you're
those are
just,
the
like,
worst.
because I can teleport. Because usually you, like, point. Okay. So for those of you who have not played yet, you can, like, point your, I don't know, hand cursor thing to like a spot and it will light up and then you click and it'll like jump your body there or whatever. So that's how you move around the game. Those are fine. I can handle that. But then some of them, it's like kind of steering a ship.
Yeah.
And those those are rough. And so Lee was like, oh, I don't get motion sick, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then when we were on our mommy's trip, he downloaded a game and he was playing it. And then you get to a certain part of the game where you're like shooting off in space. I don't know why we're all into space on these games right now, but you're shooting off into space and like, you know, one of those space things. Yeah. That you get a space vehicle. And he was like, oh, I got so sick. Like I felt sick for a while.
Oh.
Ha! So I was a little bitch for the rest of the night is the end of my story. I was like, I don't feel good. I just want to play video games. I'm going to go to bed.
Like regular ones. Where's Mario?
Yes. Can we please play Mario Galaxy on the Wii?
Yeah.
Get those fucking space bits.
Yeah.
What are they called? Star bits.
Lumily Lumabop.
Welcome to the Luma Shop. Oh my God. Okay. What's your goddamn errand?
Well, actually, just getting into my car to come here, I was fucking walking down my dark ass spooky driveway. And I parked at the bottom of my dark ass spooky driveway. And I got down there and I was by my car. And
Somebody
then I heard
was down there.
Fucking rustle
Oh,
over here.
no.
Like a little
No.
and some weird alien noises. Like,
Stop it.
Like
Don't
that
you
kind
do
of
this
thing.
to
And I
me.
was like,
don't you do
what
this to
the fuck
Drew
is
either.
that?
Drew's here and doesn't like aliens either. We're not going to be able to sleep tonight.
you guys were telling me about aliens.
Okay.
Like, all fucking weekend. You guys were like,
Okay.
oh, you're probably abducted by something. And I'm like, you're dumb, first of all.
You have to tell the alien story. You have to, because for sure we saw an alien this weekend. And by we, I mean Aaron.
It was just me. You guys got abducted. Okay, but wait, let me tell you
Probably.
my goddamn first. And then I'll tell the Patreons.
Okay.
Patrons.
Okay.
Patreoners.
Okay, fine.
The
Whatever.
fucking other alien story.
Okay.
So I was down by my car and it was fucking skittering over there. And I was like, fuck, right? And so then I look over and at the very end of Brandon's truck, which is like one truck length away from me.
I'm so scared right now, just so you know.
Not very far away from me. There was it was a puppy.
Oh!
And I was like, a puppy.
Oh, God. This is how you die.
And I got so excited because then I was like, well, now I have a dog, right? Like, I can't come record today, guys. I have to rescue
Name
a fucking
a dog.
puppy. And yeah. And so I got really excited and I was like, oh, I'm just going to go get it really quick. And it was like pretty small. And then I realized that it was a coyote.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, you know, when you like freeze, like, who's going to make the first move?
Like it's a bear.
Yeah. But also, I think it was a puppy coyote. And so then I was like, its mom is around here somewhere.
Oh,
Like,
don't fuck with it.
yeah, and I got real nervous, and then it fucking like skittered away and was like, like
You should pull out like a bone.
like
it's
in Minecraft. Come to me.
You are mine now. I will give you a collar.
But that was it. I was really excited because I was like, I got a puppy, and then I had to call Brandon like, we almost had a dog, and he was like, please don't pick up fucking homeless dogs.
Please stop.
Well.
What if it was an alien, if that were a puppy, what if it was an alien trying to like lure you in with a puppy?
That's how you get me.
Come into my spaceship.
Yeah, but the only dog that it had seen thus far was the fucking homeless dogs, the coyotes around our house. And so they were like, this one. This is the one I will be.
emulate this one.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, shit. Because if you were going to tell me that there was something weird and you caught it out of the corner of your eye or some spooky ass bullshit, I was going to be like, for sure this weekend you saw an alien and they are following your ass.
They're back. Nope. It was just a coyote, and I was really excited to then grab it.
I'm glad you didn't.
And then I realized that I shouldn't because it's a fucking wild animal.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You got murder for me today?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, baby.
I sure do.
Okay, I'm ready.
This week, I'm going to tell you about Josiah and Elizabeth Potts.
Potts.
Yes, the Potts.
Mrs. Potts.
Yes. Chip.
Yeah.
Aw. Tale as old as time.
That's not the song I know. Be.
Oh.
Guest. Be. Guest.
Well, Mrs. Potts is the one singing Tale as Old as Time. Not that I'm like mildly obsessed with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
But just
Sorry
so you know.
for getting that wrong.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Get out of here. Go over there, fucking Little Mermaid.
Whatever. Yeah, you want to talk about the Little
go
Mermaid?
For it. Go for it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I said ow, but it didn't hurt, but I just hit my face on the screen. Okay, so
I'm ready.
I digress. So this is an old one, but a good one.
Oh, an oldie but a goodie.
In the mid-1880s,
Oh, real old.
real old. Josiah and Elizabeth Potts, they were a married couple who lived in Carlin, Nevada with their 2 young children, a 16-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl.
Okay, 16's not young, but that's all right.
Well, I mean, to them, it's young.
No, it's not. It's like middle-aged in the 1800s.
Well, they were like 45, so...
Okay.
They were like 45.
I just wanted you to say their ages.
Well, I'm about to say it in my next bullet. So the couple were actually from Manchester, England, and they migrated to the U.S. in the mid-1860s.
Okay.
And they actually had 7 fucking children together because birth control, not a thing.
Yeah.
And I guess most of the kids were put up for adoption, but I don't know why. But I'm going to go ahead and guess because it's like the 1800s and 7 children is like a lot of children.
Mm-hmm. They're like, we can't take all these.
Josiah was 45 years old, and he worked as a machinist in the Central Pacific Railroad shops.
Okay.
And he was considered a mild-mannered and timid man.
Aren't they always?
That's how I like him. And then Elizabeth was also in her 40s, and she was described as sort of like the one who wore the pants in the relationship. And she wasn't shy or timid or well-liked.
Oh.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's because she was like a woman who wore the pants in the relationship in like the 1800s. And they were like, that bitch.
She was an independent woman.
That bitch has too many opinions.
She was too aggressive.
Yeah.
Just too many opinions.
Poor Josiah. He can't even get a word out.
Telling him who to vote for and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I want to fucking vote.
But she can't.
Use your vote for me.
Yeah.
So now there's this other person. His name is Miles Fawcett, and he's a man who also lived in Carlin, and he was a friend of Josiah and Elizabeth's.
Okay.
He was known around town as Old Man Fawcett.
That's what I would have called him.
Old Man Fawcett.
Old Man Fawcett coming around.
Here he comes again.
His tap's getting a little creaky.
Let me just fix that faucet. All right. And he was actually originally from Manchester as well.
Okay. And that's why they were friends.
Exactly. And when Miles originally came to Carlin, the Potts took him in to help him out because, right, they're like from the same area. They're like, hey, we got your back. And so Miles actually came and lived with the Potts for a while he got on his feet and figured out his life and whatever, right?
Yeah.
I guess while he was there too, Elizabeth would like do his laundry and his baking, which I love that those are tasks that like a man needs done in like the 1800s, right? Like, can you do my baking?
What does that entail? Like cupcakes or like bread?
I feel like it's bread, you know? Like, I need a loaf of bread. And she'd be like, oh, honey, don't worry. I got you.
Would you like yeasty bread?
Yeah. What kind of bread are you looking? Oh, monkey bread.
We've got the family yeast over here.
Oh, gross. It's a strain originally from England.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Ugh. Also, I feel like if they're living in the same house, they're like eating the same food. I would think.
Yeah. Okay. So
like,
the only
we'll take you in, and also you can have some of our food.
Yeah. No, okay, so there's a reason why I said that she did the baking and the laundry, and that's because after he moves out, which is probably my next bullet, but I'll just spitball it here. Okay. After he moves out, he still continues to have his laundry and his baking done by Elizabeth.
Okay.
So
I hate it.
I'm like,
I thought she was a strong, independent woman who don't need to do no man's laundry, goddammit.
Well, I mean,
it's the worst part of being a fucking adult.
Dude, and then in the 1800s, can you imagine? You got to use like washboards and clotheslines and shit.
Yeah. That's so much more work.
Dude, but can you imagine? I bet if you can use a washboard, you can play a washboard.
She's like, I just need to go down and practice at the stream.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. I guess Miles would loan them sums of money occasionally because he was so thankful for everything that they were doing, you know?
Here's sums of money. Was it like in a fucking bag?
I don't actually really know. The word is misspelled on here, so I'm going to guess I meant to say sums of money. Random sums of money.
Okay.
One lump sum.
15 payments.
Call J.G. Wentworth.
877 cash now.
God, I hate those fucking commercials.
Everyone does.
I know, but like if I needed a lump sum now.
I know where to get it.
I'll give you my lump sum. All right. Anyway, so Miles would give them money regularly because he was like, thank you so much for helping me out and for baking my bread all the time.
Yeah.
But like pay it back. But like you can borrow money from me.
Okay.
Now, on New Year's Day on 1887, which was a great year.
It was a Tuesday.
100 years later. See what I did there? Mm-hmm. Josiah and Elizabeth, they invited Miles to their home to have a celebratory drink to ring in the new year, right?
Okay.
Like, come on down.
Yeah.
Fucking bars hopping in our house.
Yeah.
So Miles brings his friend JR, and everyone had like a fucking great time.
Did he bring his friend JR or Junior?
It was like capital J period, capital R period.
Okay.
So I'm going with JR.
Okay. Yeah. No, I trust you.
Do you want to fight about it?
What?
You want to fight about it?
I do.
You said it pretty aggressively.
Well,
like, you idiot.
It was not a you idiot. I'm just used to like a JD. JP.
We know one JD.
JC.
I know a JC.
You know,
Okay.
JT.
Well,
T.
maybe it was Junior, but I'm calling his ass JR.
JR.
So everybody comes over, right? We got Miles, we got JR, we got the Pots. Everybody's having a great time. And they're having some drinks. And after tossing a few back, JR's like, all right, I'm going to head home. And Miles is like, deuces.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're heading home. I'm going to ride my horse back to town.
I was going to say a horse and carriage.
Yeah.
It's got to be a buggy.
So that's what they're doing. Well, this is the last time that anyone is going to hear from Miles. Heads up. Heads up.
Oh.
He just isn't there in the morning. And JR is like, oh, where the fuck is old man Fawcett, right? Like, he was over there at the Pots on New Year's Day, and I haven't seen him in a couple of days.
Okay.
And so he starts asking around. And people start asking around, like, hey, I'm so used to seeing fucking old man Fawcett tittling about. I don't know why he's tittling, but he tittles every day.
Trolling the neighborhood.
Yeah, checking faucets and shit. And he wasn't out and about. And so everybody's like, what the fuck's going on? So maybe we should go talk to the Pots and see, like, when did they last see him?
All right.
So JR heads over to the Potts' house and asks, like, hey, where's Miles? Like, when did he leave that night? Like, what's your story? What's going on, right?
Yeah.
So Josiah says that on that night, Miles had sold the Potts all of his land and property. He even had the bill of sale handy. Like, see, look. And that at some point, they'd gotten into an argument and Miles took off in a, quote, huff.
Ooh.
And headed east towards the railroad tracks, and that was the last they even saw of Miles, right? Like, he sold us all his fucking property. We had a couple of drinks. He sold us all his property, and he left. We got in an argument, and he left.
It's not suspicious at all.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Okay, now, JR was like, oh, that's fucking interesting. What was your argument about? And Josiah says, oh, well, he raped my 6-year-old daughter.
Oh, that would cause an argument.
Yeah, you wouldn't be like, he left in a huff. You'd be like, oh, I fucking almost killed him and he ran away because I was going to kill him because he raped my 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He left in a huff. He was mad that I was mad.
Oh, how irresponsible. Anyway, so JR is like, Sheriff, I have a question. Can you please come check this shit out because my friend's missing and they're saying that there was an argument and all the shit. Like, it looks fucking suspicious.
Yeah.
So go check them out. So the sheriff is like, all right, I'll check it out. Let me go over to fucking old man Fawcett's house and see what's going on over there.
Yeah, do some poking around.
Yeah, let's go do some investigating.
Yeah.
And so he goes to his home and he finds that the door is open. And
Ajar.
The door is ajar. No, it's a door.
Got him.
Okay, and so when he opens the door that is already open, when he goes into the door, he finds that a lot of old man Fawcett's valuable shit is missing.
Ooh. Okay. So he packed up after he raped a little girl and he was like, I'm headed out of town.
I'm out of here in a huff. And so nothing, I guess, in the home suggested any kind of foul play. So the Potts were kind of questioned, right? And they were like, well, he left in a huff. You know, that's the end of our story. And so the investigation was closed.
They're like, keep saying huff. Makes it easier to believe.
Say huff again. It makes it easier to believe. Oh, he left in a huff after raping your 6-year-old daughter. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
So shortly after Miles goes missing, Josiah and Elizabeth are like, you know what we should do? We should move out of Carlin, Nevada, and we should go move to Rock Springs, Wyoming with our 2 children.
Okay.
Not suspicious at all.
Not at all.
We're just ready to move.
It's just time for a change, you know? Change
we
of scenery, change of pace.
Living here.
She got raped back there.
Doing laundry.
I want to get out of there.
Baking bread.
Yeah. I'm going to go bake bread in Wyoming now.
That's right.
Bet they got that better bread.
Parquet. So they move away, right?
Yeah.
And then now somebody else moves into Josiah and Elizabeth's home.
And they're like, it smells.
It smells like old man Fawcett in here.
Ew.
No. Okay, so the new couple, they move in, right?
Yeah.
And they notice right away that there's like this strange tapping and shit going on in the home.
What?
And so they're like, obviously, it's a fucking ghost.
For sure.
And they're like how we would be if we lived in a home with ghosts, which I'm pretty sure we do. But like, excited. Like, oh, cool. I'm cool with it. Yeah, just don't fuck with my shit. But like, I'll knock back. Let's talk to them. Let's fucking seances. I don't know.
Oh, in like the 1800s?
They weren't doing seances. They were just cool with a ghost.
In like 1888. 1887. Isn't that like witchcraft?
Well, I mean, they weren't doing seances.
Yeah, they were just like, it's cool. I hear spirits.
Yeah.
And no one was like, burn them. Fucking burn them.
Well, maybe they were chill and like progressive for their time. I don't know. When was the Salem witch trial shit?
I thought it was like 1890 something.
She turned me into a newt.
But I got better. You know what's really funny is that I know that scene is playing in Drew's head right now, and he really wants to yell it because he has like movie Tourette's.
I know. He's really good at it too.
And he's like, that's not how it fucking goes.
Poor Drew. This is why we invite him. Just for pure torture.
Mm-hmm. Don't talk.
Shut your mouth. Okay. They're living in a haunted house.
Yeah. And they're like, this is fine.
This is fine. I love living in haunted homes. Mm-hmm. And they kind of got used to the ruckus and everything going on.
Yeah.
But sometimes it would get like pretty intense. And so like one time they had a lot of shit going on in the cellar. And they were like, let's go check that shit out.
Nope.
Yep. And so, well,
you don't do that.
The husband did because he's so strong.
Yeah,
right?
he's a man.
And he had to protect his home.
Yeah.
And so he went down
grabbed a hoe.
Yeah.
Like the gardening tool.
Don't call her that.
And he went downstairs.
Down south?
Down
In
south.
the deep south.
He went into the deep south of his house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did he find?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So he went down there and he went poking around and he didn't find anything.
Oh.
And he was like, it's that fucking ghost again, man.
That's anticlimactic.
Okay. Yeah. Enunciate. And then it started happening again, and this time again, he grabs his beaten stick or something, literally like an iron pole. I don't know.
He grabbed a scythe.
Yes.
They had those.
I know. I don't know if he lived on a farm or not, but sure.
I assumed it was, but I guess I don't know.
You're probably right. Everything's a farm then.
Yeah.
There's not like
that's
duplexes.
what I always say.
Okay. So he grabs his like beaten stick and he notices that the dirt is kind of disturbed on the floor. Mm-hmm. And he's always seen that, but he's like, well, maybe I should just like poke around in that dirt for a hot minute. And so he takes his little stick and he pokes around and he sees what he thinks is an like rotten turnip. And so he goes to pick it up. That was such an evil laugh. So he goes to pick it up, and it was literally like a chunk of hair with like skin and stuff. And he was hit with like this terrible smell. And he immediately dropped it and was like, Sheriff, like call the sheriff. Some shit is going down. And so the sheriff comes over, and the sheriff's like, well, you know what we got to do? We got to dig that shit up.
Yeah. Smart sheriff. Mm-hmm. Smart sheriff.
Mm-hmm. And so,
do turnips grow in darkness?
You know
in
what
cellars?
You know what I was thinking is like cellars are usually where you would keep food, especially like potatoes.
Yeah. Okay.
And root vegetables.
So then he was like, maybe
is this a beetroot?
Maybe someone dropped a beetroot.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, oh, let me pick that up. Nope, wasn't a beetroot. So the sheriff comes and helps dig up what ultimately are the remains of a man.
A bushel of beetroots.
A.k.a. human remains. Mm-hmm. And they had been cut into pieces. The head looked like it had been cut off right below the ears.
Ugh.
Which I don't know why. I'm like, but hair, like, I feel like this is like a lot of surface area to cut versus just like at the neck anywhere.
Yeah.
But maybe just like the neck is below the ears in general.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they were like, his head was cut off below the ears.
I don't know.
Just like anywhere.
It was like below, they specified below the ears. I don't know what that means, but it was below the ears.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, Stacy.
It turns out that the skull was actually partially crushed and had been burned.
Oh.
And it no longer had any skin on it.
Ew.
It appeared that the body parts had been thrown in the hole and then lit on fire and then covered with the dirt. Like, we're fucking gonna burn this and then
put
just
out the fire
it.
with the dirt because we don't want to set the house on fire.
Yeah. Actually, is the cellar underneath the house?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or is it just like on the side of the house and it's a hole in the ground?
Well, there's an opening to like the outside of the house from the side of the house, but it goes to underneath your house. Your cellar, your basement, or whatever, that's the same thing is under your house. It's like
See, I messed up
your
because
first story, second ground story, bottom floor, underground.
down the stairs and to the left. I'm all messed up because we have like family property in Colorado, and my dad said that when they first moved there, they would keep their food cold by like they built a cellar and it's like off to the side. And then they would also like use the river water to keep their shit cold. I don't know.
Maybe in the 1800s it was different because keeping shit underground was
Faux pas?
like No, I was thinking like more like a refrigerator because it'd be like fucking colder or warmer, I guess. I don't know. Down under there.
Colder.
But if your house was on top of it, then like the heat would escape. So then maybe they did, like you said, build it outside. But like modern day cellars are fucking under your house.
Yeah. Do you think everyone is screaming at their listening device right now and they're like, stop talking about cellars, you idiots?
Bitch, you live in California. You don't have a cellar.
Exactly. Okay. So,
But my grandparents both had cellars and they were directly under their house.
they also had outdoor showers.
One of them.
So I feel like their house is not configured correctly is what I'm getting at. Like,
The outdoor shower was on the side of the house. The other one had a cellar that she kept fucking canned of
Beetroot?
vegetables in. There may have been beetroot down there. Also, the laundry was down there. Also, the
oh,
bikes
hell
were
no.
down there.
I've seen, yeah, no, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She also had a shower down there, and she was like, that's where you shower. And I was like, oh, I'm going to die.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Didn't-
That's like the last place I want to be naked and wet at. Like
In the cellar?
down in the cellar.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's exactly how you die.
Yeah, and my dad had painted a big mural on the fucking wall, but not finished it. And it was a giant, like, school bus with a happy face on it, like, coming
Dear
over
God.
a hill. It was terrifying.
Oh,
I think
Lord.
he was on acid. Dad, if you're listening, can you tell me now?
Sorry for outing you for being on acid. So the fire was not a complete fire. Like, it didn't burn all of the body parts because they found a pair of men's pants in there. They call their articles at trousers, just for the record. But I'm calling them pants. Don't
You
get it
modern
twisted.
linguist.
Oh, God. Okay, so in the pants, there was a pocket, the tiniest pocket that you ever did see. Okay, there was just a pocket, and inside of the pocket, there was a pocket knife.
Oh.
And it was identified as belonging to Miles. Big shocker. Old Man Fawcett's pocket knife and pants were in this hole of body parts.
Okay.
So Old Man Fawcett got himself, nope.
He got.
Yep. He was murdered. Immediately, the sheriff was like, I know who fucking did it. It was Josiah and Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, because he was last seen at their house.
Yeah. They said they didn't know where he went, and he left in a huff.
Assholes.
Yeah.
Are lying.
But also, if he raped their daughter, like, meh, let him go.
Yeah.
But also, that's kind of fucked up. But also,
Yeah.
you know, go on with your story.
Okay, so the sheriff, he hits the road to Wyoming because he's like, we're going to go talk to them.
Yeah. It's going to be a road trip. It's going to be a long day, boys.
Let's ride. So he goes and gets them and brings them back to Nevada on suspicion of murder and whatever.
On account of the body in their house.
Yeah, like, your story's full of holes. And on the ride back, Josiah was all nervous because, he's a shy, timid man, right? And he blurts out that he dismembered Miles and buried him in the cellar, but that he didn't kill him. He's like, I chopped him up and I tried to burn him, but I didn't kill him.
He was just taking care of business afterward.
And he said that what had happened was Miles actually committed suicide in their home.
Oh.
And that Josiah didn't want to be charged with murder, so he chopped him up and he hid his body and made up the story about him leaving town.
Yeah.
So Josiah and Elizabeth are sent to trial because it's like the 1800s and they're like, yeah, we still don't believe you. We don't have that much evidence, but fuck you, we're going to trial. And they both enter a plea of not guilty to Miles's murder. And JR takes the stand in their trial. I don't know if they were tried together, I'm assuming. So JR takes the stand in the trial, and he testifies that on New Year's Day, Miles was planning on staying the night at the Potts' home to collect money that they owed him. Because remember I said that he would let them borrow sums of money? And so he was like, okay, the whole plan was we were going to go over, have some drinks. He was always going to stay the night because he needed to collect some money. I don't know why he has to stay the night to collect some money.
Maybe he was like, after you leave, I'm going to bring it up.
But yeah, I don't want to do it in front of people. So I guess Miles, or Old Man Fawcett, had said that, or he had told JR that he knew enough about Elizabeth's past, like life. I don't know what the fuck kind of life she had, but he knew enough about her past that he could force her to pay the debt. So I don't know what that means.
He was going to threaten her, blackmail her.
Yeah, so maybe she was like, no, I've baked one too many loaves of bread for you.
Yeah.
Each one of those is 25 cents, and you loaned me a 5, so I don't know. I don't know. She did some math. I'm not sure. But he was like, I'm going to go get that money. It sounded like he was coming for an argument.
Yeah.
according to JR, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if he's going for an argument, but he's like, they're going to pay me back. And if not, I'm going to fucking out her for some shit.
Yeah.
Also, it turns out that the Potts had some of Miles' belongings in their home. Like after he, the shit that was missing from his home.
Ooh, yeah.
It turns out that they had some of it. So they're like, okay, that's pretty fucking suspicious, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so...
Can't have a dead man's stuff in your house.
Nah, it's not a good look.
No.
So now the 16-year-old son, he takes the stand. The Potts' 16-year-old son, right? Because the whole family was in the house on this night.
Yeah.
So he takes the stand and he says that on that night, New Year's Day or New Year's night.
New Year's Eve.
No, the actual New Year's Day, but the night that day.
Okay. I thought it was a party on New Year's, but all right.
It was on New Year's Day.
That's weird.
Yeah.
They don't know how to party.
I don't know. Maybe it was just like, semantics of the article, and I took it literally.
I don't know.
I don't either. It's not important at all. But that night that Miles went missing,
yeah.
The 16-year-old said that he woke up because he heard arguing going on. Like he had gone to bed, woke up because he heard all this like fucking commotion.
Yeah.
And so he goes out of his room and peeks into the kitchen where everybody was. And Miles had a gun in his hand.
Uh-oh.
And he pointed it at his own head and he shot himself. Bomb, 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 bomb.
Yeah.
And so the son says that he saw that and then he just went back to bed and that the family never talked about it. And that his parents did not coach him on what to say on the stand.
Well, of course they said that. And tell him we didn't coach you.
Say it back to me now. Exactly. So then it was Elizabeth's turn to take the stand.
Okay.
And she says that Miles came over that day to pick up his laundry and that she invited him in to stay for some drinks. Mm-hmm. And he had his friend JR with him. And after 2 drinks, JR left. Just like JR said. And around 9 p.m., Josiah was digging around in a trunk of hers, a quote trunk, I don't know, fucking purse or something, or like a little,
It's gonna be like a chest, like your fucking hope chest.
Yeah, but this is what he's digging for postage stamp. So that he fucking mails something off.
Maybe it was like a writing desk.
Oh, maybe.
It was like...
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so he was digging around in there for some postage, and he came across a letter that Elizabeth had written that she had intended to mail to the sheriff, but she hadn't mailed it yet. And Josiah was like, I'm going to read this letter. And so even though they were drinking and partying, he took the time to sit down and open this letter that was not addressed to him. And in the letter, Elizabeth details an incident involving Miles a year prior where Miles was living with the Potts family on their, homestead or whatever. And I guess Miles was living out in the barn. And she noticed that her youngest daughter had gone missing, the 6-year-old. And so she went out to the barn to look for her. And when she found her, Miles had her on his lap.
Ew.
Somebody's lap. Yeah. With no pants on.
And what? Who didn't have pants on?
Miles.
Gross.
He didn't have pants on, and her undergarments were unbuttoned. And
Ew.
So, well, okay, listen. I agree. This is all gross. I don't know if any of this is true.
Okay. Allegedly.
Because this is in a letter, supposedly, that Josiah had found. I just stumbled across this letter today.
From a year prior.
Yeah, that she wrote a year prior. Okay, so I don't really know. Okay, so I guess when Elizabeth walked in, she freaked out on Miles, right? And Miles jumped up and put his hands around Elizabeth's throat and choked her until she went, quote, black. So I'm guessing until she passed out. At first, I was like, until she went blue in the face, and she said black in the face, and I was like, that's not how that happens.
Yeah.
But maybe until she started to black out. Mm-hmm. And then he stopped choking her and was like, if you tell anybody what you see here, I'll fucking kill you. And so this scared Elizabeth, and she was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. But I guess she kept this a secret from Josiah for a whole year, and she continued to do this old man Fawcett's laundry and bake his bread, knowing what she had walked in on. And so she continued to live her life not telling anybody, but her plan was to write this letter and to mail it to the sheriff as they left town. Because remember, they moved to Wyoming. So she was like, oh, we were planning to move to Wyoming this whole time. And so I was going to fucking mail it off to you so that no other little girl would get molested.
Yeah, and then he couldn't fucking come kill me.
Exactly. But before she could do that on this fateful night, Josiah happened to find that letter, right? Mm-hmm. And so when he opened it and read it, he flies into a rage and he goes into the kitchen to confront Miles. And Miles says that he was only playing with the girl. I didn't molest her. I was only playing with her.
Ew.
Yeah. And Josiah screams, I wrote this in all caps. I'll have you lynched.
Oh.
I don't know if that was a quote. It must have been because I capsed it. I don't know. Anyway, and then Miles drops to his knees and confesses that he did the crime and that he was crazy at the time. And so he begs for forgiveness, right?
Okay.
And so Miles offers the Potts everything he owns. Like, you can have my land, my horse, everything. Just forgive me. And so Elizabeth writes up this bill of sale in this heat of moment. Like, I got you, fucking Miles. Yes, I'll forgive you if you give me all of your things.
Yeah.
But Josiah's still mad. And he's like, fuck that shit. No, screw your note. And like throws the bill of sale. Even after everybody had signed it. Can you tell I don't really believe that this happened? I don't know. I'm just reading an article here, but it sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
And so Miles was facing, like, after he fucking throws the note, and Miles stands up after, like, pleading on the ground for mercy. He stands up and he's facing this cupboard, and he reaches up with his left hand, and there's a revolver there. And so he places it to his left temple, and he laughs, and he says, "You folks will be blamed for this." And then he pulls the trigger and commits suicide.
Wow. That is pretty dramatic.
End scene.
And scene. Yeah.
And so that's what Elizabeth is saying on the stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
After that, Elizabeth says that Josiah tells her, like, go to bed and rest. Like,
I'll take care of this.
I'll clean up what has happened here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the end of Elizabeth's story. She's like, I literally didn't do anything. I just watched the dude fucking blow his brains out, and then I went to bed.
And I took him up on his offer to fucking sell me all his shit.
Yeah.
Give me all his shit.
See, look, I have all of his things.
Yeah.
How convenient. Now, Josiah takes the stand, and he says all of the same things that Elizabeth says, and claims that when she went to bed, he sat with Miles's corpse for a little bit.
Ew.
And he was like, what should I do with the body? Like, I know I have to get rid of it because I'm going to get blamed for his murder if I don't. Like,
Yeah.
no one's going to believe that story.
Well, I mean, like, science now could prove it.
I know,
I
right?
wonder what science is like then. Like fucking black powder on your hand.
Science was like what came out of your mouth was, I mean, it's a man's word.
Oh, well.
And a man would never lie.
Especially not Josiah, though.
Not Josiah. He sounds pretty timid.
He sounds pretty honorable.
Mm-hmm.
So did Miles, though.
Old man Fawcett.
Old man Fawcett.
Yeah, I mean, he really is the victim in all of this. I don't know if he molested anybody,
Okay.
but it seems like a pretty grand story to, like, justify why you would murder somebody, right?
no, it seems like very justifiable on why I would murder somebody.
That's what I mean. Like, that's what, like, you would think that if that, I don't know. It just seems silly that they're like, he did all that and I didn't kill him. He killed himself.
Oh, yeah. No. That I mean,
that's a
I
lie.
believe that maybe some shit came out that he maybe touched this girl or they thought that he did or whatever that might be. And then that causes an argument and then one of them kills him because it'd be kind of fucking intense.
But he was coming to collect money. And so what if they were like, no, I'm not going to give you money. And he was like, if you don't give me money, I'm going to talk about your past life, whatever the fuck that shit was, Elizabeth. It's scandalous. And I'm going to let it out. And she was like, you let it out and I'll kill you. And then he was like, okay, give me money. And she's like, I made all that bread. And he was like, not enough. And then she was like, ha, I know what I'll do. I'll blow your brains out. And then I don't owe anybody money and I'll take your land.
Yeah. I mean, it's their
That
story
seems
against.
more plausible.
Yeah.
And the 6-year-old girl never took the stand. So I don't know.
That's good. That's probably for the best.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's where I'm thinking things go. But
Okay.
of course, pure speculation.
Of course.
So, let us see here. So so Josiah's sitting with Miles, right? Like, what am I going to do? And so he says, I knew I'd get blamed for the murder, so I had to hide the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he did was he wrapped him up in blankets and he took him down to the cellar where he dug a hole and he even gave the dude a pillow for his head.
Aw.
And then he buried him.
What a guy.
And he said, so nice. So he says that 3 months go by and he was starting to worry that the body would be discovered. And so he
In
decided
his own house?
in his own house, maybe because of stink. I don't know.
Ew.
And so he digs the body up and he cuts it up and he bashes the skull in with an axe so that he could burn it. I don't
Okay.
know why. I don't know why you can burn skulls better if they're crushed up. Maybe so it wouldn't be recognizable.
Okay.
And he says that Miles had shot himself just below the left ear and that the bullet had lodged into his right eye.
Ew. All of a sudden, Josiah's a fucking coroner?
Well, I guess he's saying, like, because he saw the dude blow his brains out. So, like, he put the gun to, like, his
Yeah.
left below his ear. What a weird. And then it got stuck in his eye. How would you know it got stuck in the eye?
That's what I'm saying. Unless you bashed open his skull and you're like, Look, it's lodged in his eye.
Maybe. And he says, so listen, I did all that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't kill him.
Nope.
But I buried him.
Yep.
I crushed the skull.
Okay.
I set him on fire. Mm-hmm. I did all that shit. But I did not kill him. And Elizabeth had nothing to do with it.
Oh.
She witnessed the suicide and then she went to bed.
Yeah. She was like, you clean up. I cooked. You clean up.
I cooked. You have to do the dishes.
Yeah.
All right. And so it took the jury 4 hours to deliberate and found them both guilty.
Okay.
So a lot of this evidence is like totally circumstantial, right? They don't really know exactly what happens. It's just like all a bunch of stories and they're meshing it together. And everybody is like, okay, you know, according to the stories, technically speaking, Elizabeth didn't really do anything. But because, like I said, she was kind of not really well liked and she was kind of outspoken and everything, they were like, there's no way Josiah would have done this without Elizabeth leading the clan, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure Elizabeth had something to do with it and then told Josiah, like, say this, you know? And then told the 16-year-old, say this.
Yeah.
So they're like, she's the fucking mastermind.
She's the ringleader behind all this shit.
She's the ringleader.
Well, she sounds awful.
Yeah, she does. I really don't know. It's kind of sad. I mean, this is like such an old story, but you really don't know what the truth is.
Yeah.
You know for sure that old man Fawcett was murdered.
Well, do you?
Well, okay, he was chopped up and they
That
took
doesn't
his
mean he was
stuff.
murdered.
I know.
Listen, I believe you. I believe that they probably murdered him. However, it could have been like they said, where he was like, he was diddling our daughter, and so then it was like a fucking fit of rage. Or it could have been like he was like, hey, give me all my fucking money, and then there was a fit of rage. Or it could have been that he was they were like, I'm not going to pay you. This will take care of our problems. There could have been literally anything that led to it. However, they should have been like, hey, he killed himself. If they didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
instead
what
of
do
like
I do
trying
with
to
this body?
Yeah. That's why, for sure, I think he was murdered.
Yeah. Innocent people don't try to hide bodies, generally speaking.
Yeah, and just because of JR saying, like, hey, he was there to collect money, and he was saying, like, I know Elizabeth's past life, that I'm going to get that money, that it must have been a large lump sum, and they were like, fuck, no.
Yeah.
I'll kill you, and now I own your land.
Yeah. I don't have it right now.
Yeah, come back in a week. Alrighty, so, like I said, it took the jury 4 hours to deliberate, and
Guilty.
they found them guilty of murder, and the judge sentenced them both to be hanged by the neck until dead.
Okay.
That is the official sentencing.
Yeah.
So everybody was freaking out because a woman had been sentenced to be hanged. And there were all these questions about like ethics of it, like should a woman be hanged and blah, 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 right? Because no woman had been hanged in Nevada. I don't know about the rest of the fucking country or anything, but it was like unheard of.
And we're all delicate sunflowers that need to be fucking treated with delicate gloved hands.
Yeah, don't hang me, bro. That's what I always say.
That's what I always say.
And like I said before, ultimately, they try to like appeal it. Like, oh, just give her life. Don't give her life. I mean, maybe. It's prison. Who knows? But,
Delouse her.
But they're like, oh, no, just give her life in prison. Don't fucking hang her or whatever. And then ultimately, because they determined that she was probably the ringleader of all this shit, they were like, no, she's got to be hanged. You can't do that shit.
Yeah. Make an example of her.
So
Was she the first woman hanged in Nevada? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Would you just look at
I'm
it?
looking at it. Okay, so as we know, like back in the day, the gallows were quite the event, right?
Ah,
Like,
yes.
you would get invited to go watch the hangings.
It's like date night.
Exactly. And so the couples were placed in their own cells and they were building the gallows outside of their cells, like outside of the fucking jailhouse that they were at. And they would listen to the construction of their gallows being built right outside of their cell all day long. And
I would think it would take like a solid afternoon.
oh no, it took like a while. I guess, okay, so there's this whole thing about their gallows. They were like built in Sacramento or some shit, and they tested them a bunch with like a bunch of sandbags to like, you know, the weight of the people. And they were like, these are the best gallows ever. And then they took it apart and then they shipped it or by horse and buggied it to Nevada, and then they built it up. It was like a fucking event. It's like the circus came to town. There were invitations printed out for this hanging, you know?
Wow.
And so, exactly. So then they could hear their fucking shit coming, right? Like, oh, they're building the thing that's going to kill me right now outside of my goddamn window.
Yeah.
And the night before the hanging, Elizabeth got a hold of a penknife that I guess she somehow smuggled in, and she sliced her wrists and crawled into her cot and covered herself with a blanket and asked an officer to, like the officer on watch, to play something soothing for her to fall asleep to. Mm-hmm. And the officer was like, it's pretty fucking suspicious that it's like a June summer night and you have a blanket on. Like, what the fuck is going on over there? And so he goes over and he rips the blanket off and he sees blood everywhere and sees what she had done. And so he calls the doctor to stop the bleeding. And she's pissed. She's like, no, that's how I want to die. I don't want to die on the gallows tomorrow morning, whatever. Like, I'm going out when I want to go out. And she puts up a fight until she passes out from blood loss. And then they stop the bleeding and she survives.
Dang it.
That's shitty. So the next morning, which was June 20th, 1890, 52 people attend the hanging event.
That's it?
52 is like a lot of people. I guess.
For a house party.
I guess. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So they were all men. No women wanted to attend because a woman was being hung. So it was kind of controversial.
Ooh.
I said it right.
Yeah, you did.
I
they
felt
were like
my
protesting it?
I don't know. Or if they were just like, not today.
Oh. I would have gone.
I feel like 52 people is a lot of people.
That's not that many people.
But like in the day?
That's like less than a classroom.
But in the day, back in the day, 52 people in one place.
They had people then.
Okay, yeah, I know. But they all lived
few and far between.
They lived out.
Yeah, but the circus is in fucking town. I'll shut the shit down.
Can I get a witness?
Hell yeah.
All right. You're right. I don't know if that's a lot or not enough people, but okay. I feel like the way the article read, 52 people was like a lot of people. Like 52 people came into town to see this hanging.
All right.
Event.
There were probably more than 50 people in the fucking jail.
I don't
I'll
think
bet
so.
30 people worked in the fucking prison.
I don't think so because, like, have you ever visited a jailhouse, especially in the desert?
Yeah, they were
have
pretty small.
Mm-hmm. There'd be like 3 cells. And they asked the dude on watch to play something soothing. I'm sure he had a fucking guitar and he was like tuning it like bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, or it was like a fucking play it again for me, Sam. And they had a
they had like a little fucking piano.
I don't know.
Like, play my old ragtime doll again. Hello, my darling.
I don't feel like it's a lot of people. You could fit 20 people in here.
Not comfortably.
Standing room.
Not with all this shit. That'd be a fire hazard.
Well, that's for sure.
All right. So 52 people are at this event.
Okay.
All men, no women.
Okay.
Elizabeth and Josiah, they claim their innocence up until the bitter end. They're like, we are innocent. And
shot it from the gallows.
They literally did. And they were given a few stiff drinks. And yeah, they got fucking sauced before they went up there, which is kind of like your final meal now, right?
I mean, I guess.
They're like, what do you want? Kentucky Fried Chicken or this bottle of bourbon?
I want my whiskey neat.
I think it said that they were given like a small bottle of booze.
Like a Tito's airplane bottle?
Yeah. And then they got like another one because they were like, that's not going to do it. I'm sure you're nervous right now. Yeah.
Why are they treating them like with dignity?
It's just, okay, well, listen.
Okay.
It's just like how we have now, your last meal before your execution.
Yeah, but also, if I could get hammered before I'm going to get offed, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't count. It counts, but
I feel like it's way, yeah. I don't, man, fucking, well, wait until I'm about to tell you what's going on here, because then you're going to be like, yeah, the fucking stiff drinks I would want those also.
Oh, man, did it not work? There's not the best gallows in town.
We got the best gallows in town. See here now.
See here.
Yes. So they're walked up to the gallows. Elizabeth had a special dress made just for the occasion, and it was a white dress with black silk bows at her neck and wrists.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want a black cobra.
Okay.
Okay. And so Josiah was in a nice suit, and they were bound, and their shoes were removed. I wonder why.
I do too. Like, maybe so they don't fall off.
But what does it matter? You're being hung, like, or hanged.
Hanged.
Don't you yell at me.
I don't know why they would take them off. That's weird.
I don't either, but they did.
Okay.
Maybe
because you kick a lot and then you're.
Oh, and you might like peg somebody in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And you have like fucking knives in your stiletto.
But I mean, if she was wearing heels, they may have been made out of metal back in the day.
I'm sure she was, because she sounds like she was a lady. You don't just wear a black dress a white dress and flip-flops.
That's right. She wasn't wearing flip-flops. She wasn't wearing flats.
Them old prison shoes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're all fucking up there, right? They take off their shoes. Legs are strapped also. So that doesn't make any sense because you can't kick if your legs are strapped. So I'm not quite sure why the shoes were off. Okay. Somebody tell us why the shoes were off, please. We need to know.
It's because everybody knows that, like, if you get hit by a car and your shoes fly off, that you died.
Yeah?
Yeah. So then they don't want, like, the crowd to know exactly when they died. Because they put a bag over their head and they're just like, yeah, anyway, disperse.
Okay, so they stood next to each other on the gallows and they lean forward and they kiss each other.
Gross.
Very affectionately.
Ew.
And they're like, this captain goes down with the ship.
What is very effective? Like, was their tongue? What
I don't
did
know.
it
I was
say?
like, they're drunk. I'm sure they're like, come here. They're about to die
I mean, yeah.
together. It's like the ultimate romantic story.
Ew.
Anyway, okay, so they fucking make out really quick, and then black hoods are pulled over their heads, and the nooses are slipped around their neck, and both of them kept asking the Lord to have mercy on their soul, and then the trap underneath them was released, and they are dropped, right?
Okay. So they were asking the Lord to have mercy on their soul. Does that kind of say they're guilty?
Perhaps.
Okay. Proceed.
Ooh, good catch.
Thank
I
you.
feel like if I were about to die and I were innocent, I'd still be like, please forgive me for everything else I have done also.
I guess.
Trust me on this one.
Okay. I was like, I don't know how it works.
When you get up there and they flash that one time that you like, I don't know, like the one time I told you there were no spiders in that box, but there were really spiders in the box. And God's like, what the fuck, Stacey? You promised Aaron there weren't spiders in the box. You lied.
That's right.
I don't like liars. And
God
I'd be
have
like,
mercy on your soul.
I'm sorry. And then he'll make me feel how you felt. And I'd be like, I was a stupid bitch. See? So I'd be like, please forgive me for that one moment.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't murder this guy back here.
Okay.
Okay, so the trap releases, right? They're kaput.
I thought you tooted. I was like, Jesus.
I think I love more that you just said tooted. Like you're a kid. Did you toot?
Tootin'. Tootin' tootin' common.
Darn tootin'. All right, so it turns out in jail, Elizabeth had put on a couple extra LBSs, right? A couple extra pounds.
Did a rope snap?
No.
Yeah, explain what LBS is to our non-American
some pounds,
listeners.
some stones, some fucking weight.
Yeah.
So she was pretty heavy set at the time of her hanging. And so when she dropped, the weight of her body almost decapitated her.
Oh, that's nasty.
Oh, that's nasty. And so she had the hood on, right? And blood just started pouring out of her hood, down her white dress, and dripping down her feet to pull at the ground. Like, it was not good. It's not good at all. And so
How would they
everybody's
have
like,
fixed that? Or can they just not hang fat people?
I don't know. I'm sure. Well, remember how I said they had like the perfect sandbags and shit? And they were like, these are perfect.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that was like her weight before prison or some shit. I don't
Yeah,
fucking
but
know.
like they use the same kind of rope on everybody, don't they?
I don't know. I'm not an executioner.
Someone let us know.
I'm sure there's a lot of math and science behind it. They're like, add another sandbag. I don't know. I have no idea. So anyway, so that, everybody was like all fucking wound up tight about a woman being hanged. And here this woman gets hanged and it's fucking dramatic.
Yeah.
So
just like a woman.
Gotta be
Elizabeth, dramatic to the bitter end.
So Josiah, when he fucking kaputted, was hung, hanged, whatever. Don't you do that to me. Everybody knows hanged is the most uncomfortable word in the English language.
You're not wrong.
Why isn't it hung?
I don't know.
This is why it'd be so hard to learn English. Anyway, so Josiah just kind of turned around a few times and he his legs kicked once or something and then he was done. So not as dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was a timid guy.
And so they hung there for about 15 to 20 minutes before they were cut down. Elizabeth was the first and last woman to be executed in Nevada.
Because they were like, listen,
That was pretty bad back there.
women are kind of gruesome. Kind of dramatic.
I guess I should say, executed, not murdered, but what's it called? Sentenced to
Death?
execution. There you go. Yeah. Because women have been executed in Nevada, but just not
Do you want to start that thought over? Because I don't know what you're saying.
Because I had said that she was the first and last woman to be executed in Nevada. No, I don't want to start over.
Okay.
And that's not true because people get shot and killed all the time. But I meant by the state.
Yeah. Okay.
By the state.
I gotcha.
By the state. Okay.
I gotcha.
And My last bullet here is that it's especially crazy because it was like totally fucking circumstantial evidence
Yeah.
that all this shit went down on, but I guess everybody knew the couple was guilty. And there was a note in one of the articles, and it said that most of this information about like what happened at the gallows and shit came from the executioner's son. I don't know if they're called executioners up on the gallows. I'm using like my fucking weird knowledge from watching like Game of Thrones and shit. But I guess his dad was up there on the gallows getting them all set up and ready to hang them. And he climbed a tree or some shit so he could watch what was going on because he didn't have a fucking ticket to get in and he was a kid. And so that's how most of the details are known, is like this little kid was like, oh yeah, I remember them. I watched this happen. Like this is exactly how it went down. And also they were like, oh my God, did you feel bad like that this happened? And he was like, no, we all knew that they were guilty. Like, it was like the circus. Like, yeah, well, that show's over.
That was a different breed of people back then, man.
Catch the elephants. Over in fucking tent 2.
Round that shit up. Ugh.
Anyway, so that's my story.
That's exciting. That was kind of gruesome.
Yeah, I think it's even more weird that I'm not quite sure how the murder happened. Or if it even was murder.
It was probably murder.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't they have found like a bullet buried with him?
I have no idea. I have no idea what they found. I probably could if I could have like kept researching, but you know how we are around here.
That's true. That is true.
Anyway, so if you want to see pictures pertaining to this case, go check out our website, isgdpodcast.com. Also, you'll find links to our merch and our Patreon. Go join Patreon. It's a lot of fun. And you can see us tangent a lot on this episode.
It was a lot.
Also, you can join us on social media, ISGD Podcast. And we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, so what else can they do? They can email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com or snail mail us
at P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979.
Wait, before we go.
Yes?
This is why I write shit up on the board. We have a shout out.
Oh, yeah.
See, I told you to remind me, and I knew you wouldn't remind me, so I wrote it on the board.
I won't.
Shut up, baby.
Shut up, baby. You know it.
All right, so we have a shout out to
somebody's husband. Ooh, who's it gonna be?
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? It's Melissa's husband.
What's up, Melissa's husband? What's his name?
Melissa's husband's name is Michael. I knew you were gonna do that. I guess Michael introduced Melissa to the podcast.
Oh, really?
Now they're fucking having relationship goals and shit and listening together while they hold each other into the deep, dark night and listen to murder.
Thanks for listening, guys. And,
thank you
for being fucking great.
We fucking love you both.
That is true.
And on that note,
also subscribe, rate, and review.
Oh, yeah, do that one too.
And on that note,
bye.
Bye.